The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
Water!
Man, Moses, give us something to drink, man.
Why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord?
But I could kill Moses if I don't get nothing to drink.
Moses, why did you bring us out of Egypt? To make our children and our animal die of thirst?
I'm a stone Moses. I'm gonna kill him if I don't get nothing to drink.
Lord, what should I do with this people? They are almost ready to stone me.
Moses, go out in front of the people. Take with you some of the elders and take in your hand the staff in which you struck the Nile. I will stand there before you by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out of it for the people to drink.
People, the Lord has brought us to this rock at Horeb. He has instructed me to strike this rock, which will bring forth water. Ah! Finally we have water.
The Israelites have complained and worried about both food and water, and each time God has supplied all their needs. One would think they would have gotten the idea by now. In this episode, we are focusing on Exodus chapters 17 through 19, and we will see how the Israelites react when faced with a similar situation. Enjoy.
All right, so welcome back to another episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. I know y'all a little bit confused because you're not used to hearing me start it out, but I got to get a turn at least once or twice just to see how I feel. All right, so this week we're still talking about the Hebrews, and they've already exited, and they're in their wilderness journey. Right now we have another special guest. We have my cousin Bobby with us.
Yeah, good to be here.
And that's my cousin spending some time with me. And you can't pass through without getting the word now, you know what I'm saying? And good thing we have a family who love the Lord and just always willing to come and chop it up and talk with us.
Amen.
So this week the podcast is gonna be taken from Exodus 17 through Exodus 19. So last week, if you all can remember, and if you're just tuning in, last week we spoke about the Hebrews as they rejoiced from just being able to exit out of Egypt, and they also went through a few hardships pretty early. This has only been the first month or maybe 2 months of their journey, and they have already seen where they thirsted and they could not imagine where this water is going to come from. And so they did not take the approach that is like the suggested approach of praying and like asking God and even being thankful for the situation they're in. They took the approach of complaining. So they complained to Moses for the water. Moses ended up pleading with God. They got the water. Next, they hungered. They complained once again. Even the elders complained during this time. So it was almost as if Moses and Aaron, or maybe his small team, Moses, Aaron, and whoever else was with him for real, but just Moses and Aaron, we know for sure was at the forefront of burning the brunt of these complaints. Bearing the brunt of these complaints. So when it came to that, Moses pleaded with God, Lord, bless us with food. And God gave them manna from heaven. He also gave them quail. He instructed them on how to pick the manna and, just how to provide for yourselves and the provisions that need to be made on the Sabbath. So here we are in verse 17. And chapter 17. Thank you. We in chapter 17 and we're seeing another, bro, it's like this is blowing my mind, dog, because we're in the same scenario once again where the Israelites thirst. You understand what I'm saying? So we're just going to get right into it. And I'm reading from the New King James Version. Then all the congregation of the children of Israel set out on their journey from the wilderness of Zin, according to the commandment of the Lord, and camped in Rephidim, but there was no water for the people to drink. Same scenario, the exact scenario. Oh, well, it's not exact because last time they had water, but it just wasn't clean. This time there's no water, and therefore the people contended with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. So now they contending to Moses, right? And Moses, if you all remember, towards the ending of our podcast, it was a situation where Moses was telling them, yo, when y'all get this food, this can come from God, and you can know that this is the God that took you out of Egypt. So this ain't this. Don't confuse yourself. This is the same person who do all this for you. You understand what I'm saying? And it's the same person who you need to consider as your provider. And the reason why is so much. This Exodus, the real book, the name of Exodus is called the Book of Names, right? The reason why this is so important and this keeps coming up is because there were so many gods in Egypt. But what God is the real God? You guys have been blatantly introduced to the real God. And now Moses is saying, when you get this miracle done, you're going to know that this is coming from the real God. Like, do not confuse this. So now, here it is again. They coming at Moses. And Moses was saying, bro, like, y'all beefing with me. Y'all secretly upset with God. But truthfully, this is not helping the situation. God is testing your faith. So he wants you to come to him and submit to God, and he will provide your needs. And God had already told him, if you keep my commandments, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not going to give you the plagues that I give the Egyptians, because I'm the God that heals. Bro, if you are thirsty, you are dehydrated, I can heal that. You understand? I can fix that problem.
Exactly.
And so Moses said to them, why do you contend with me? Why do you tempt the Lord? Because right now you messing with the Lord now, bro. This ain't even at first it was reasonable skepticism at first. Now y'all just being unreasonable now. Because bro, like seriously, you know what the outcome can be. And you know that the outcome this way is not, that Moses is never happy when you do this. And he's telling you all, bro, like it's the right way and the wrong way to do this. Y'all choosing the wrong way every time. Understand what I'm saying? And so as we go on, we're going to explain the extent of their anger.
Yeah, I was going to say, keep on going.
Right. And the people thirsted, there for water. And the people complained against Moses and said, why is it that you have brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? So they keep saying, bro, you bring us out of Egypt to kill us, bro.
See, there's still a lot of skepticism. Go for it.
Like they should have been able to take what they was going through right there and then, bro, because they done been through a lot.
Right. So think about this, right? You was a slave, bro. One of your own people who didn't have to do this, bro. He had already run away, dog.
And was straight.
He was straight.
Gone for 40 years.
Bro, he was gone for 40 years, bro. Come back to say, bro, I riding for y'all, bro. By the grace of God, we could get y'all out of there.
Now to double back on that, you forget what they was doing in Egypt, the type of work what they was doing in Egypt.
Like building and all, and harsh labor.
They was actually dying during that period as building because they was working so hard.
Think about this. When Moses come back, the Pharaoh increased their work, bro.
Right.
Pharaoh gave them so much work that he said, bro, y'all ain't have time to do nothing else, bro. Y'all could have eaten, chilling, and praying. Ding. No boy giving y'all so much work. But first they was providing the bricks for them.
The straw.
The straw so they could build the bricks. So that they could build, right?
Right.
Pharaoh say, boy, I ain't even giving y'all the straw no more, but y'all have to find y'all own straw now, bro. You understand what I'm saying? So now, right, they getting whipped, they getting beat.
And make the same amount of bricks.
You have to keep the same quota every day. And Pharaoh's telling you that cold, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
And they complain about being back there. They want to go back.
Then they want to go back to Egypt. You understand the Stockholm syndrome now, bro? You understand? So they feel sympathetic for their oppressors now. And they say, just because they thirsty now. They thirsty to the point, man, you bring us out here to kill us, man. So we ain't keen and flicking no arm on them, Wait, their life is less. We don't even have evidence of any work they had to do besides collecting their bread and their meat to eat. You understand? And it coming from heaven. You understand? You don't have to hunt for this even. So now they saying, bro, you understand? So they looking at Moses. They say, boy, man, man, and I just, because you know I'm a Bahamian, so all us are Bahamian, so I just think about how my people would have come at me if, or whoever is Moses, man, you bring us out here to kill us, man. We could have been living in Egypt and then, bro. You bring us out here to kill us,
they sound like
man.
Bahamians.
You understand what I say? That's what they say.
They just might be.
They just might be Bahamians, bro. For real, dog. So that was just, right?
I'm sure. Go for it.
I notice they always bringing their children into this.
I don't know why.
And God see this, and God, you know, God is a funny God, and God can end up flipping it. You're also concerned with your children?
Don't worry.
All right then, but we spoiler alert.
Wow.
Yeah, you understand? We can get to that. We can get to that weeks from now.
Going.
Yeah, you see where it's going, bro. So Moses cried out to the Lord, saying, "What shall I do with this people?" He talking to God like, "God, what I can do with them?" You understand?
You
They
get confused now.
Bro.
Yeah, is there so much complaints,
Bro.
You would ask yourself the same thing.
But
now-
even going like they did. Bible say. Moses said, "What am I do? What am I going to do with these people? They are almost ready to stone me."
Bro.
So now this even one step further. Now these people are getting so angry that they have no water, and they complaining so much. They saying, "You know what we could do? We could rise up and stone Moses. We could go for it."
But I want you a civil engineer, bro. I want you to help me understand, bro. When they kill Moses, how else can get them that water?
But my thing is right logically,
Yeah.
and we can see how God put them in this predicament to like try to build a trust on him because you already saw all the wonders I work for y'all in Egypt. All
Number
the
one.
plagues. That's just that. I already bring y'all through the Red Sea.
Number
Stock
2.
water up. This is like number 12 at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah. You understand? Like,
I bring y'all through on dry land and kill Pharaoh them in the Pharaoh's army in the Red Sea at the same time. I'm already guiding y'all by the pillar of clouds by the day and a pillar of fire at night. Y'all seeing my
Y'all
presence.
seeing-
you seeing physical fire in the sky, bro.
Y'all-
Not the sun, bro. You seeing fire, bro.
Y'all complain about water the first time. I tell Moses, throw a piece of wood in the water and the water became fit to drink. Logically, throw a piece of wood in water don't make it better to drink.
Like, what I can do?
That ain't logical.
You
So
see what I said?
you should believe like
Bro,
You should know this miracles
these
happening.
miracles
y'all
happening.
complain about food. I literally send flakes of manna from heaven to feed y'all every morning without fail.
Bro, think about it, bro.
Complain or not, think about it.
That's crazy.
Y'all complaining today and y'all wake up this morning and eat the manna I give y'all.
That's crazy.
Bread and meat, bro. You remember a long time, like outside of like our religion conversation I say about a lot of cultures, it's always bread and meat just in a different form. Like you understand? Like you might have a biscuit and wings. You understand what I'm saying? You might have bread and the meat in between. That's a sandwich. You see what I'm saying? Like
Get
bro,
some naan and some curry chicken.
But you understand, like even like you get a tortilla, you get chicken inside, add some cheese or whatever. That's a quesadilla, and like you could do burritos and stuff like that, bro. In their culture, they get bread and meat, bro. You understand? The manna come from heaven. That's the bread, and then the
God sent quail.
God sent quail, bro. You understand? So y'all able to eat, bro. Like, and my thing is, all of these things wasn't normal, bro.
No.
None of this was normal.
No.
None of this- like, and it's so funny. Like even in today, bro, we just put faith in a lot of stuff, bro. From I see a boxer to fire odd once or twice, or like even sports. It's a guy, we ain't call him names or nothing like that, but he's won a lot of Super Bowls. You understand? So people choose not to bet against him because he's won enough, so they have faith in him. Like, no, you can't.
No matter what predicament he is.
No matter what predicament,
You can't cut him out.
you can't cut him out. You understand? Because you don't see stuff like that, bro. You understand? And so with God, they see it so much, bro.
They
see it-
seeing the Super Bowl rings.
you understand? They see all the rings, bro. You understand? But they still ain't feeling it. They still like, man, he can't do it. Like every time, God have to start with a clean slate every time with them. These guys have the amnesia. You understand what I'm saying? It's a clean slate with them every single time.
And that's crazy, bro.
That's crazy, bro. And I still feel like the Hebrew people is a microcosm of the people in today's world, bro. Like
Oh,
God's
most
children.
definitely.
Yeah, that's how I feel, bro.
Yeah.
Because there's so much times God put me in a scenario, and I like, man, I don't know if I can get out of this. Like you should understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like you're
like,
questioning God, like
again?
you're
Like-
lacking faith.
Like, but you done been through so much, you still...
You see, they say that God looking at it like, but this wasn't even as bad as that time, and I take you out of that next one.
Yeah.
It might have been a completely different scenario, so you ain't putting the two together. But God, like, wait, hold on, dog. Like, I do this for you so much times, bro.
Like, chill out, bro.
Like, chill out. Like, why you getting mad? And why you getting mad at someone? When I put you in this scenario to build your faith, bro, but you getting mad at them, bro.
Yeah, like,
You
you
understand
want
what
to
I'm
see
saying?
this before you can't remember? Like, yeah.
Like, come on, dog. Like, what it could take, dog. So they was ready to stone Moses. So this wasn't a regular type of mad, bro. You understand? I have had thoughts like, boy, I'm so mad at this person, blah, blah, blah. I ain't even gonna finish it. But that's a very rare feeling for me. Like, that's like an extreme one. they ready to kill Moses because they can't get their water, bro.
Yeah. And as you say, if they kill Moses, what that accomplish?
What that was going to
That ain't
accomplish?
help the problem at
so
all.
that's just to show how their mindset was, bro.
Arguably, it'll make the problem.
Oh,
way
yeah.
worse.
That's another thing.
bro.
That's another thing.
Y'all
Like,
just was getting...
that go to show how they mindset
Was,
like,
yeah, bro.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's the type of shit that see. And so it's a lot of rehabilitating for them, bro. They just spent 400 years in a foreign land, bro. This wasn't a Christian nation they was in, bro. This wasn't a God-fearing nation. They worship. They was pagans, bro. They was living around idols and pagans and stuff. So, you already see the type of stuff they pick up, bro. But they sound like Simeon and Levi right now, right? Simeon and Levi, they were Jacob's sons, and they kill a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying? But they don't sound. They don't sound like Israel, bro. This ain't the character of Israel. Like we never had Israel say, "I can kill someone" type thing. Israel rather swing you before he kill you.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And even when he was supposed to try to go to war with Esau, he chose peace. You understand? These don't sound like descendants of this guy, bro. You feel me?
Mercy.
Like, so this just got to show how, like, kind of institutionalized or how influenced they was, bro, or how led by the devil they was at the same time, bro. Because truly, why are you trying to kill this person, bro? You can overthrow someone without killing them, though.
But who has done nothing but help you at this point?
Exactly.
Honestly, like nothing but help you at this point. Like y'all would have still been in slavery in Egypt, but at the same time, I look at y'all rather that than being in this desert right now.
And Bobby, let me show you something more. Oh, you gonna say something?
Is it true that some of the people who followed Moses went back to Egypt?
I didn't see any representation of that, but at the same time, they probably wouldn't have made it back to Egypt because they traveling through the desert, and now they complaining about water and food now. And trust me, if you ain't with the Hebrews, like I don't see how they can get that in the desert. You see what I'm saying? So they could have tried, but I don't think they would have make it all the way back there because like it ain't like they had cars and things like that. So watch this. Let me show you something about Moses. This guy Moses, bro, killed for y'all, bro. He killed for y'all, bro. He killed someone for y'all, bro. This wasn't like I accidentally. He sees something happening and he killed for y'all, right?
Yeah.
But Moses was a gangster, bro. True Moses, when he spent them 40 years away, he ended up getting humble, bro. God was working on his heart. He become a shepherd because he was living in exile, bro.
Right,
That
right,
changed
right.
him.
Yeah,
That changed
yeah,
his heart. And this the boy you running up on like you about to stone him, bro. You can't even have respect for him, bro.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
killing for you before.
That's all it is. No,
That's
people
just-
just forget. They just really forget you're gangster, you know.
Yeah, right. You understand? You understand?
Sometimes people forget.
Exactly. And so Moses keep up to tell him, bro, like, whatever. So now he talking to God, verse 5. And the Lord said to Moses, go on before the people and take with you some of the elders of Israel. Also take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river and go. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock of Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, that the people may drink. So God is instructing Moses, strike this rock with this rod, and water will come out of it, and the people will drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. So he called the name of the place Massah and Meribah because of the contention of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, is the Lord among us or not?
Wow. And you see what he do? Just true. You tempt me. Something was so impossible to believe. Like all you have to do is strike rocks and
You understand? And
Like
that's how
that,
God... See, God ain't making...
like, stop tempting me. Like,
Right.
like he trying to show you, like, I got you.
Right. So like now if God didn't make it rain, they could have easily say,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
nature.
yeah.
You see what I
Right,
saying?
right.
But God said, but these dry rocks right here, these rocks will have nothing to do with water. You strike that with the same rod that you used to part the Red Sea.
But in the same rod that you was using to pronounce curses on Egypt. It's
Exactly.
the same rod.
It's that same rod,
Because
bro.
every time Moses would do a curse, God would say, just extend your hands, and like the flies would come or the water would turn
Or turn into darkness and
big.
right.
And, and to remove the plague too, he just to extend this rod again and pray to God. But it's the same rod that Moses used to pronounce all type of plagues on Egypt. It's the same rod now God using to show y'all that, hey, I can use this as a sign to save y'all and actually give y'all what y'all need too. Oh, I'm gonna read something from Psalms. What David did, right? It's kind of crazy because this was actually history to David as well, even though everything is history to us. But David in Psalm 78, verse 11 to 16, he's saying, they forgot what he had done, the wonders he had showed them. He did miracles in the sight of their ancestors and in the land of Egypt and in the region of Zoan. He divided the sea and led them through. He made the water stand up like a wall. He guided them with the cloud by day and with the light of the fire all night. He split the rocks in the wilderness and he gave them water as abundant as the seas. He brought streams out of the rock and made the water flow from it down like a river.
And you know this wasn't no jokey amount of
So
water.
David was, sorry about that. Sorry.
Go on.
David was before Moses.
No, after, way after Moses.
Way after
So-
Moses.
So, bro, this go to show you this wasn't no jokey amount of water, bro. You have to quench over 1 million people. You understand?
And their animals.
And the animals. You understand? So like,
yeah,
so
they
this
had
was
livestock too.
right.
And
You understand?
and
So
this-
this is a serious amount of water.
And you can see how David even painted like this water was abundant as the sea and it flow like a river.
Right.
So like this strike, like imagine a rock. Just around, I guess it probably mean like a little mountain face or something. Like you
Yeah,
strike
yeah.
this rock and
And-
like a river start flowing out of this rock. Naturally, that does not happen.
No, that don't even. That you can't even comprehend that.
And so God really just trying to show them through all these miracles and ones that they see. And you see David even say like he's showing them wonders. He showed them wonders. So like now you're saying, bro, this doesn't happen naturally. You just don't strike a rock and water flows out of the rock.
They was on the same type of time as I was saying, like, but yeah, they forgetting, man. Like, you have anything to say?
No, I don't know this.
All right, so moving forward, now this is a fight with the Amalekites. So this is my thing, right? You in the middle of the desert, right? How you end up picking up a fight with people? You know what I mean? Like, so like to me, and y'all minding your own business at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So I just really trying to think about the perspective of the Amalekites.
Man, but you can see it too. Like it wasn't even like they picked a fight. You see the Bible painted in such a way that they said the Amalekites came and attacked them.
Exactly.
So the Amalekites was like, okay, yeah, we just gone come at y'all, I guess.
So now watch this. Oh, you gonna say something?
No, he just going to say, just give them a little bit of smoke.
Yeah, get them a little something. Let them know who they is. Y'all new in town. All right, gotta introduce y'all.
Yeah.
So now, verse 8. Now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. Who's Amalek?
This actually descendant of Esau. So this they cousins.
So this they cousins.
Essentially they cousins.
Yeah. Now that's crazy because Jacob and Esau is twins. You understand?
Yeah.
And this descendants of
Esau.
So Jacob, who is now called Israel, who's the reason why we have the Israelites, right? And then we have Esau, his son Amalek, and their descendants.
Descendants, yep.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Anyway, now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim, and Moses said to Joshua, Joshua going to be a very interesting name that we speak of in the future. Just saying that now. Just remember that name, Joshua. Choose us some men and go out. Fight with Amalek. So tomorrow I would stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So you know this is about to be a serious thing. Moses already telling you I got the rod on deck and I could be on top of this hill. So Joshua did as Moses said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And so it was when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. So let's just paint the picture now, right?
Oh.
You understand what I'm saying? So now watch this, right? Moses, these people just come and attack y'all. I don't know, we don't even know their motive, but we can speculate in a second. So Moses was like, Joshua, I trust you. You understand? Joshua's that guy. You know what I mean? He said, bro, get your guys, and I want y'all to go fight them off. I could be on the top of the hill with me and a couple of my boys, right? me and them guys. So he said, I going with the rod of God. So just know, you want to see a miracle happen. You understand? Because that rod, we already can associate that with miracles. Every time that is used or mentioned, you know a miracle coming. So now, Moses lifted up his hand with the rod in his hand.
I just picturing, right? In elementary school, when you get a punishment, they say stand in the back of the room with your hands out. But after a minute, your arms tired, bro.
Tired.
It used to hurt, bro.
Imagine planking though, bro. Like I can't plank for 30 seconds without feeling like I'm about to pass out, bro. Now planking is a more of a core exercise, right? But now this is a very serious scenario right now, bro. This is life or death right now. So like even when you're in class and you have to raise your hand and the teacher ain't seeing your hand, you gotta switch your hand off.
Switch your hand. You put it halfway so it's just resting like perpendicular to your shoulder.
Right.
So it's just resting on the table.
Right. Let the table do the work, right? So Moses holding up his hand and they winning. They going off. They got this under control.
Moses getting a little tired
Moses'
now.
arm getting a little tired. Now
They
he
start
holding something
dropping.
too. They start dropping.
It's both of your hands too.
Motto.
Can't even switch your hands.
No. So the more the lower Moses' arms get, the more it's just start getting their butt
to push
kicked.
forward.
Yeah, you understand? The Amalekites start to make a run. You understand?
Yeah.
So things start to turn around. So now
Aaron and her start seeing what's going
They're
on.
like, why you're just standing here doing nothing? Bro? We gotta help. So Moses' hands became heavy. So they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and her supported his hands, one on one side, another on the other side. And his hands were steady until the going down of the sun.
I just want to point out about Aaron and her. They had some strength too, buddy.
Had to.
Because your hands upholding his hands up for the rest of the day too. So your hand getting tired too.
Yeah, but this was a long battle too.
Right, that's what I just.
That's what I said till sunset.
That's why I say wow just now,
Yeah.
because when you say tell the sun,
Tell the
I
going
was
out of the
like,
sun.
wow,
But
wait
you
a
know
minute.
what's so funny? Like, I mean, this also, I guess, foreshadowing too, right? Or just jumping ahead, right? But Josh is being involved in some serious battles. Because remember the next battle he was involved in later on? When, was it that when God essentially had to keep the sun in the sky for
Yeah,
extra
and-
amount of time?
Yep.
That was insane.
The sound of the sound. That's why I say he could be a serious person. So, what one thing to remember too, though, is that if you confuse this, the same Joshua with the Battle of Jericho. You understand
Joshua
what I'm
and the Battle
saying?
of Jericho.
Joshua and the Walls of Jericho. So that's probably like his most notable thing that a lot of people know him for.
And he's also one of the 12 spies too.
Yeah. So and
What he was?
One of the 12 spies, because when they actually reached the entrance of Canaan, Moses sent 12 spies in. Only 2 came back with a good report, and the other 10 didn't come back with a good report. Yeah. And he was one of the ones who actually came back with a good report.
And he's very optimistic that they could actually beat.
He's like, no, we can rise up and beat these guys.
Yeah.
And the other guys were like, no, but they're like giants. We like grasshoppers to them.
Yeah, and that ended up being a pretty violent story too. Like, because you could see Israel. So from now, this is the first time we see Israel becoming violent at leadership. So you could kind of get the impression that when they don't get their way, they get very serious to the point where you ready to kill Moses. There's someone who already killed for you. There's somebody who come back to save. There's somebody who give up his throne, bro. He was royalty. You understand what I'm saying? He was a prince.
Well, at the end of the day, sometimes that's how life is. But you could be the savior. You could be the person who help the persons who need help, and they turn around and.
It was to your point, what you say off mic. You have Jesus, the Savior, the literal Savior of the whole world, right? And then you have Barabbas, who's also named Jesus in some translations, in some books. And you have the criminal, you understand, who done rape, who done do all type of sick stuff.
Rape, murderer.
You understand what I'm saying? And then you have the Christ, who literally, whether you agree with him or not, that don't change the fact that he's telling the truth. And literally, he's only spoke, really, and healed. He's only spoke and healed. And they choose to kill the one who spoke and healed, opposed to the one who hurt and killed, maybe murdered, all of that stuff. You know,
Probably thief from that same night.
that same night.
And I hear the saying like that, you know, is where I say it be the people who you help would turn around and try to stab you in your back.
Yeah, bro. So
And you was only trying to show them something better.
Right.
Like you was genuinely trying to show them something better. And they'll be the same people who turn around and stab you right in the back.
and we can see that biblical now.
It's crazy.
So they wasn't trying to stop him, they was trying to stone him. You understand?
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
they say let you know.
Let you know they was trying to stone
They
him.
was trying to get that back in blood.
Yeah, right. They was trying.
That's crazy.
They was close to stoning them. So
That's crazy.
So verse 13, right? So Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. Then the Lord said to Moses, write this for a memorial in the book and recount it in the hearing of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. So this
And-
was serious. This is
and-
personal for
That's
God.
crazy.
And
too.
Moses
bro.
did do that in Deuteronomy. If you read Deuteronomy 25:17, you'll see when Moses actually wrote the remembrance and the account of it.
Okay. And Moses built an altar and called its name, "The Lord is my banner." For he said, because the Lord has sworn, the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation.
I just like how they used to name everything back then. We building this altar?
I
The
call
Lord
this
is my banner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ain't gonna mix nothing up.
Y'all complaining and quarreling? Mespah and Pharaoh? Massa.
Meribah, and
You
Massah.
swear we just didn't say that a
Yeah,
while
like,
ago.
right? But these words, they ain't too familiar to the English tongue.
Massa
for
and
real.
Meribah, yeah.
So, and that's my thing. So why? All right. So we had 27 minutes right now, but why you think the Amalekites even try to give them the smoke?
Bro, they came out, they was trying to avenge the Egyptians.
Yeah.
That's what I want to feel. That's what I want to feel like, bro. So it's two things. Two things I thinking. You know, like especially like in the hood, right?
I mean, because I'm going to read the Deuteronomy 25:17, when Moses wrote the account. He said, remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when ye were come forth out of Egypt. How he met thee by the way, he smote the hindrance most of thee. So he came from the behind, even all those who were feeble behind thee. And when thou was faint and weary, he feared not God. Therefore it shall be when the Lord thy God had given thee rest from all thine enemies round about in the land which the Lord had given thee for the inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, and thou shalt not forget. But it shows that Amalek and Amalekites, they really didn't fear God at all. So now you have this Hebrew nation that just came out of Egypt. As we showed in the previous episodes, God really came against the gods of Egypt. So now these people were saying, nah, there's no way your God is going to be more superior than our gods. You made a mockery of Egypt, but we can't have you coming into Canaan showing that y'all are gods better. So now we going to come from behind and attack y'all, try to catch y'all, I guess, slipping in lack of a better word, catch y'all when y'all not ready for us. And God was like, no, y'all, I'm still going to show that our God, I am the God who reigns supreme.
So that's interesting. And I'm glad you mentioned the word Canaan because that just reminded me of something, right? So Abraham, at the beginning of his ark, moved to Canaan.
Like who he's calling an ark.
So he moved to Canaan. And same time, God was very specific in saying, do not mingle with these people. Do not intermarry. Because we know that he was surrounded by pagan nations, but he was like the light surrounding these nations. And Abraham already put in work. When he go on the war against the people who captivated,
Captive Lot.
Yeah,
Captured
like
Lot.
in Sodom and Gomorrah and stuff like that. So he go on to fight against them.
Backtrack. What do you do?
So one time before, you know, everybody know the famous story of Sodom and Gomorrah. But before that, his nephew Lot had moved to Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham's nephew Lot.
Yeah, Abraham's nephew Lot, because he wife, I think, moved.
No, before this, way before that.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying? So Lot might not even have been married at this time.
He wasn't married at that time.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
So he just did move there, right? And then a few kings come and overthrow Sodom and Gomorrah. And they end up fighting and taking them captive, right? So someone come to Abraham and say, yo, yeah, they just captivate Sodom and Gomorrah. And then he's like, and they got Lot hostage. And Abraham's like,
Abraham went down there.
yeah, he gone down there with about 300 this man, or was it 320? It was something in the 300s. It might have been 320. I ain't gonna lie. It might not have been 300 exactly.
That's how I get to know about like what type of man Abraham was.
318 trained man.
Genesis
14 for everybody.
I never would have known that about Abraham.
Exactly. So
I thought he was just like
a chill, humble,
like a farmer,
yeah, shepherd,
shepherd.
Yeah.
But he was really,
yeah, he's down, bro. That's the thing, bro. Like people look at Christianity and feel like you have to be like just a complete vegetable. You understand what I'm saying? Like, but at the same time, we see where God led people to fight in battles, and He led them to win. You understand what I'm saying? So it's right. So like, not everybody could be the chill person, bro.
Right. That's another thing.
You could be a high testosterone type of person. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, you still gotta love God. You still gotta move out of faith. You still gotta move out of love. Like, I ain't saying God calling us to be no hard head, because that's the only time we see Moses fight. You understand?
But at the end of the day,
I mean, Abraham
the journey which you going through, like the same journey here, it's a battle.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to battle, and you're gonna have to stand your ground. Yeah, that's what each story in the Bible symbol. You have to stand your ground, and I feel as if you, on this journey of Christianity, you have to be like a person who's strong too.
Strong in your beliefs, bro.
Strong in your belief.
You understand what I'm saying?
You got other people who's strong in their beliefs.
Oh, for sure. And they trying to attack you, and that's what we saying with the Amalekites now.
They were with the same.
You understand? Like, and for the listeners, we're not implying that you're gonna have to physically battle anybody or fight. No. You understand what I'm saying? But metaphorically, that's kind of what the Amalekites were saying. Now they were strong in their beliefs, bro. This a Canaan nation.
Right.
For context, these were only pagans, bro. The only people that were not pagans were the people who were descendants of Abraham in some type of way. You understand? But even some of them, Amalek is a descendant of Abraham. Even some of them was pagans.
So for real?
Yeah, bro. That was Abraham, like great grandson, like.
Yeah,
and they straight.
Esau. That was the descendants of Esau.
They descendant of his
and
grandson.
And they strayed away from God.
So Esau never did care about God.
Remember the next thing too. Abraham had about 8 sons. Most people forget that fact. Most people just remember Isaac and Ishmael. But after that, he had a wife, Keturah, and Keturah gave him like 6 other sons. So Abraham had about 8 sons altogether. We know Ishmael alone did his own thing, and so people, because the Bible really just follows the line of Isaac after that point. But Abraham had 8 sons in total. So he was really a man of many nations.
Oh,
and these other
like
nations
you say,
still was around and
Like
popped
it
up in this whole Canaan region as well.
Yeah, so what I say in like the land of plan, so we get to Exodus 18. And correction, I'm not saying that Amalek was like his great grandson. I'm saying he was the descendant of like his grandson, great grandson, stuff like that. But when Abraham had to go to war to save his nephew, and he went to war and they won. You understand what I'm saying? And you know God was with him. God literally said, bro, who you bless is blessed, and who you curse is cursed. God was with him. You understand? And so now we can see the same thing happening with the Israelites now. They was in the land of Canaan. Abraham was surrounded by Canaanites, bro. But God tell them, do not intermingle. Now they heading back to Canaan. And the Amalek, and this time around, the Canaanite, they ain't as happy to welcome the Israelites, the people who fear the Most High God. This time they saying, y'all just make an example out of Egypt. Y'all think y'all God so big in XYZ, but now they coming in the name of their God. And we coming, we ain't even fighting y'all nobly. We sneaking y'all. Because we trying to destroy all of y'all type of situation. You know what I mean? And at the same time, they had to come to the realization that no, bro, God, our God right now, he already let the Israelites sit down for 400 years. You understand? Y'all was off the radar. We wasn't really hearing too much but them. We was seeing all of the other gods prevail, and they was assuming that this God, the Most High God, was unpowerful, and these pagan gods and these idols was more powerful than God. So first, God first thing he said, I can liberate y'all, and I can set an example of all the Egyptian gods so y'all can understand, and Egypt can understand that I'm the Most High God. Not everybody else who wasn't there, they could speculate all they want, but some people want to see it for themselves. They believe in their God. So they come in and they saying, bro, we could test it out now. Our God versus your God, and we can see. And they end up taking a big L. You understand what I'm saying? They're taking a big L, and at the same time, this wasn't no happenstance, bro. You can speculate and say, Abraham was a fighter, that's why they win. This one, you can't speculate. Because as soon as Moses you understand? As soon as Moses' hand started to fall on, they started to lose. You understand? So you know it's the hand of the Almighty that helped them to prevail. And that's how it's going to be written in the books. That they was blotted out. You understand what I'm saying?
God's like, I want to be done with these people.
Exactly.
So Exodus 18. So we just went back to Genesis 14 for that story. But all right, Genesis 18. So
Exodus
now
18.
Again. Okay, anyway, I'm going to just not say it.
Yeah, don't say it.
Now Jethro, the priest of Midian, the father-in-law of Moses, heard everything that God had done for Moses and for the people of Israel, and how the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. After Moses sent his wife away, Zipporah, his father-in-law Jethro received her and her 2 sons. One was named Gershom, for Moses said, I have become a foreigner in a foreign land. And the other was named Eliezer, for he said, my father, God, was my helper. He saved me from the sword of Pharaoh. Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, together with Moses' sons and wife, came to him in the wilderness where he was camped near the mountain of God. Jethro had sent word to him, your father-in-law, is really making sure that we know this was Moses' father-in-law.
Exactly.
Very thorough in that description.
They still got it a couple more times to mention it still.
Your father-in-law, Jethro, I'm coming to you with your wife and her 2 sons. Why just don't say my grandkids, though? Yeah. Or your kids. Anyway, so Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and bowed down and kissed him and greet each other, and then they went into the tent. Moses told his father-in-law about everything the Lord had done for Pharaoh and the Egyptians for this Israel's sake, and about the hardships they had met along the way and how the Lord had saved them. So now we see it's like a good old family reunion, good catching up time. We see Jethro come and saying, hey, okay, you can take your wife and these kids back, you know.
Don't forget them.
Be a man in the house again. Yeah. Take them back. All the smoke you was worrying about going to Egypt, don't worry. You're already out. God already helped you all. Thank God. God be the glory. Here you go.
Exactly.
And then so now Jethro was delighted to hear about all the good things the Lord had done for Israel. It's good.
You see that? You see how powerful, religion was back in the day. Like how they really, all right, Jethro was Moses'
father-in-law.
Right. You see how happy he was to hear everything what God had sent him to do. Like that bring a joy to him. Like you see how serious the power of the Lord was back in the day comparing to now.
And when he said, I can say one more thing too. Because you see Jethro said in verse 10, he said, praise be to the Lord who rescued you from the hand of the Egyptians and of Pharaoh, and who rescued the people from the hands of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the other gods, for he did this to those who had treated Israel arrogantly.
What verse that is?
Just 11. That's this version.
I won't say it again, Dred.
Yeah, go
I won't get off. He said, blessed, and Jethro said, blessed be the Lord who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh, and who has delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all the gods. You just missed your shout. Hey, that's what the pastors say. They step back and they agree.
You missed it.
You just missed it. I gotta say it again. I gotta say it again.
You missed it.
You just missed it. You just missed your shout. Oh, they're not hearing me right now.
Like, come on.
like it didn't hit like I wanted it.
It'd be crazy, bro. It'd be crazy.
Let me tell you why.
You could miss it for real. It'd be crazy.
John, show you. I missed it the first couple times I read this. I missed it, bro. Then it hit me because this is the thing, bro. And let me show you how the devil is work too. We do the research, Earl. Mm-hmm. We put together the Fresh Air Fox, right? And it was a leap of faith because you have to say, man, you putting this out and you want to get sales closer to Christ, but it have to come with any criticisms, right? Criticism, and I don't want people who are literally from Egypt to be insulted or offended. Or, you understand? Like I want to be clear. Like I'm not trying to offend nobody. You understand? But at the same time, it was a fact that during this time, even the people of the world, like who was living around, they were skeptical. Jethro was a priest. Mm-hmm. Jethro believed in the Most High God, but same time he was like, I ain't too sure, because some of these other gods be putting in work, and these people looking fruitful.
That's why he said what he said.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? So he's saying, bro, now I know for sure.
He doubted himself to a point. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I understand now.
And the funny thing about it too, right? Egypt was only so prosperous because the nation of Israel was in Egypt.
Exactly. Egypt set them up, bro. When with the story of Joseph, when God give Joseph the dreams, God say, bro, God tell Joseph, bro, a famine is gonna come. Everybody gonna take a big L. It's something like how the pandemic come. If someone, bro, imagine, right? If
somebody to say a pandemic.
Imagine
if somebody had said a pandemic was coming.
All right, like 2-3 years before the pandemic come, they say the pandemic coming. Now, what you need to do, like imagine if they tell the bomb star, what you need to do, y'all need to work on this vaccine. Y'all need to save up gloves. Y'all need to do this X, Y, Z. But we could rise to be a world one of the richest countries on this side of the world. No, that's a bit stretch. But maybe depending on how much
set up
you prepare.
You
understand what I'm saying?
Even if somebody had said it 3 years ago, would you believe it?
It'll be hard to believe, but if God tell you that, if you're a God-fearing person and God tell you, then it's a no-brainer.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Keep going.
So, what you saying about?
No, let's say, right, one man had said it. God tell one man that in the next 3 years, it will be a pandemic of a flu, which nobody has seen before. Would you believe that one person? He's a God-fearing man.
No, but you got to consider this. Joseph wasn't a person who you should have believed. Joseph was a prisoner and he was a slave, right? Mm-hmm. But now, let's say the leader of a certain country, right? You's a serious leader, bro. You's a serious man. God give you a dream and that haunt your mind for days, bro. You ask everybody around what this dream mean, and only one person can interpret it. Everybody else say, but I don't know. Literally, you don't have no choice but to believe him because this dream freak you out. You wake up, you going back to sleep and you dream another dream and freak you out, bro. And the man say, all right. And he break it down. He break it down to a point where you can't even not believe him, bro. Because the dream that you want, he say, but this mean that mean that mean that. And this mean all of this could happen.
And that sound doctrine. That's what you call
sound doctrine right there, bro. Like for real. And so that was the situation. That's how Egypt ended up being so prosperous. From the outside looking in, if you take God out of the equation and look at it from a historical standpoint, you're just seeing Egypt end up rising up because of this and that. You understand? If you ain't bring God, and that's what history is do. History literally is take God out of the equation all the time. And so in the history books, this would say Egypt rise up, and that's how they get their strength.
Egypt was a prosperous nation.
You understand? Yep. But then at the same time, they still was a pagan nation. So now, even people like the priests in the land of Canaan, they could simply say, man, our people doing so bad, man. I love God and I trust God and I have a relationship with him, but like sometimes like you lack that faith because seeing is believing a lot of times too. Like faith is believing without seeing. You understand what I'm saying? But he's saying, man, sometimes I might have think that these people, they gods might have had something to do with X, Y, Z. But now we see God flex his muscles because at the end of the day, God give us free will. If the devil want to force his way, sometimes, bro, the devil is end up doing what he want to do. And you have to choose whether you could choose the devil or choose God. But God ain't gonna really push his way on you like that. But the devil is force his way on you.
Yeah.
Right? You understand what I'm saying? But God give us free will.
That's
a serious why. But now we see where God say, bro, now I can put pressure on you. I applying pressure to y'all. And so now this was a blessing to everybody who believed, because this was a sign to say, bro, God is the God. Just because you don't see him carry on, God, that don't mean he can't carry on, man, or that don't mean that he ain't the same God who rule over everything. And now Jethro was appreciative of that. You understand what I'm saying? So we had verse 12 now?
Yeah, verse 12.
All right, then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and other sacrifices to offer to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. And so it was on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood before Moses from morning until evening. So when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did for the people, he said, "What is this thing that you are doing for the people? Why do you alone sit and all the people stand before you from morning until evening?" He had a full day.
By a full day hearing people complain. I couldn't do it.
And Moses said to his father-in-law, because the people came to me to inquire of God. When they have a difficulty, they come to me, and I judge between one and another. And I make known the statutes of God and his laws. So Moses' father-in-law said to him, "The thing that you do is not good."
Not good.
Right, you ain't making sense, Moses.
This ain't making sense.
No, both you and these people who are with you will surely wear yourselves out. For this thing is too much for you. You are not able to perform it by yourself. Listen now to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God will be with you. Stand before God for the people, so that you may bring the difficulties to God. And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and the work they must do.
What was the purpose of them elders, man? Because all this time I was thinking the elders was there to add to this, like, to give more counsel to the people and kind of stuff. But it's not like they wasn't doing nothing. Y'all just elders because y'all old?
Right, because they just was elders. Like,
That's what it sounds like.
See, because here Jethro saying, all right, bro, you got all the knowledge, bro. Teach them the knowledge. You understand what I'm saying? Teach them so that they can be able to make the same calls that you are able to make because of the wisdom that you have.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Help, buddy.
And you shall teach them the statutes and the laws, and show them the way in which they must walk and the work they must do. Moreover, you shall select from all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of 50s, and rulers of tens, and let them judge the people at all times. Then it will be that every matter they shall bring to you, every great matter they shall bring to you, but every small matter they themselves shall judge. So it will be easier for you, for they will bear the burden with you. If you do this thing, and so God commands you, because he's saying, I telling you all to do this, but still, God gotta approve this. Then you will be able to endure, and all this people will also go to their place in peace.
I think this is a powerful lesson too, because a lot of people sometimes just think you have to bear the burden alone.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, God gave. I can see Justin saying, yeah, God gave you this divine appointment. Like, yeah, but you still have to bear this complete burden alone. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, ask for help.
Exactly.
These people here, they could help you and they're capable of helping you. So actually get some help from them, because you doing this ain't making no sense. And you right here burning yourself out. Like, what good you gonna be in a couple of months if you're doing this every day?
Exactly. And you have to delegate.
This over like you say already, this over like 1 million people.
And thinking about it, bro, that's a message for all leaders too. You understand? He had to be a great leader, because we have leaders, we have people who lead millions of people. You understand? But they don't physically lead them like these. They're not following me. Like, we're not journeying anywhere. You don't have to personally take account for all of them. So, like, Moses had a bigger task on his hands, right? But even me, bro, a lot of times I want to control things, bro. Like, I want to make sure this is happening, that is happening. If when it comes to this podcast, I'm like, oh, I can't let somebody edit it, or you know what I mean? Like, you feel me? Like that, like that's how I just feel. But at the same time, like, bro, you can burn yourself out.
Exactly.
Like even when we working through the week, this become very time consuming. So if anything else in our life becomes time consuming, something have to take an L.
It does.
And it might be sleep. You understand what I'm saying? So Jethro
Thursday
was...
night sleep is taken out from
Oh,
me.
yeah, for sure. The night before the port. Because remember, we had plans for Thursday. Remember, boy? So that ended up taking L. So that's the thing. So Jethro had to say, bro, hey, look here, bro. This ain't making no sense, bro. You gotta reorganize this thing. And I understand you doing the right thing, bro. But it's a smart way to do this, bro. You need to work smarter, not harder. And Moses, being a righteous and a wise man, so verse 24, heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all Israel and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds. I hope this thing move. Rulers of 50s and rulers of 10s. So they judged the people at all times. The hard cases they brought to Moses, but they judged every small case themselves. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way to his own land. Nice little visit from Pops. It's good when your father-in-law got the wisdom.
Shared some wisdom. And you say, okay, you have your kids, you have your wife, I can go back and be...
Yeah, I got a free house now. You understand what I'm saying? And now I can go back to chilling and doing whatever Jethro's do. And so, Exodus, they almost get me again. We spent too much time in Genesis, bro.
Genesis was a good book, boy.
I love Genesis, dog. I'm not even gonna lie to you,
God's
bro.
up a special place. That's where we started.
And funny thing about it, bro, like when you think about like a lot of people who like know the Bible, a lot of people like know Genesis really well. You understand what I'm saying? And that can lead you to believe that they know the Bible because there's so much stories in Genesis, like no lie. Because I thought I knew the Bible pretty well. I ain't even gonna lie to you, but Exodus is a completely new book, and we got a long way to go, bro. So Exodus 19. In the 3rd month, after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt.
So 3 months.
It's only been 3 months, bro.
3 months.
Shoot.
Think of all they have witnessed in this last, probably even 5 months, because when the stuff, this just out of Egypt. So they had the plagues and different stuff that was going on even before that. So
hold on. You say how much months?
3 months, bro.
All this done happened in 3 months.
3 months, bro. On the same day, bro. Bro, yeah, like 3 months since they left Egypt.
Right.
That's what we saying.
Right.
Yeah, 3 months, bro.
I know.
Yeah, bro.
A lot that happened in 3 months.
But you understand what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
3 months. 3 months gone by at this particular point, right? So when they complained with the water the second time, that wasn't even 3 months yet. This was the exact this exact day when they went to Mount Sinai was to make 3 months. So within
the first month.
Yeah, you understand? They already going through this thing and they complaining. Let's go back to the pandemic. Last year, the first 3 months of the pandemic, a lot happened in those 3 months. Even last year in general, in the first 3 months of last year, a lot has happened. You understand what I'm saying? So it's easy to get overwhelmed and just forget. But these people was cut different, bro. They complain no matter what. You understand?
I believe you. Yeah. I can imagine.
They was built different, bro. No lie. Yeah, in the 3rd month after the children of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt on the same day, they came to the wilderness of Sinai. For they had departed from Rephidim, had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there before the mountain. And Moses went up to God, and the Lord called to him from the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, you have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagles' wings, and brought you out to myself. Now, therefore, and this point is being reiterated multiple times in the last 3 months. Like, let's get it. Let's understand it. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my commandment, then you shall be a special treasure to me above all people for all the earth is mine. So God basically
my treasured possession. Yep.
So God basically telling them, bro, y'all could be living good. You understand? Like for real, like if you obey me and keep my commandments. And now this is similar to what he was saying before. If you obey me and keep my commandments, I will not put plagues on you. You understand what I'm saying? So like I'm meeting all of your needs. I'm also meeting your wants. But it's one thing to do. Obey me and keep my commandments. It's always a test, bro. Like, and this is my thing about Christianity, who people feel like you just have to be a good person. God ain't mentioning being no good person here at all, bro. God saying, obey me and keep my commandments.
Keep my commandments.
You understand what I'm saying? He's specifically saying this. You understand? So, like, and that's the thing, because a lot of people feel like, no, I don't feel like nobody can objectively say their heart is bad. Like everybody feel like they have a good heart, bro. Even people who I know who do a lot of crazy stuff in the world. You understand what I'm saying? Like, even people I know who's do crazy stuff in the world, when you hang around them, but they so nice, they so chill, these cool people, bro.
Like, you can't believe it.
You can't believe it.
Like,
but to other people who don't know them and who they might want to do bad stuff to, there's monsters. You understand what I'm saying?
Terrorists.
And that's the craziest thing to me. Like, you see, even rappers or celebrities who you know who have criminal past and stuff, you see them with their family. They're the biggest teddy bear. They're the biggest lovable person. In the Bahamas, when somebody dangerous die or go to jail, what them want me to say?
That's the sweetest boy ever.
Not my good son. My good son ain't do that. You understand what I'm saying? Because bro, objectively, people can't understand.
You can't fathom.
You can't fathom that every inclination in the heart is evil. You understand? People don't understand that. So when people say, God know my heart, you really sentencing, that's an admission of guilt. Because God does know your heart, bro, but you don't know your heart, bro. Our hearts are righteous, but even our righteousness is filthy rags.
And the crazy thing about it too is sometimes you can be a good person, but sometimes you get placed in certain circumstances, and you'll be surprised at what thoughts actually come to your mind, of what you want, or what you need, what you should have done. You'll be like, bro, where'd that come from?
Exactly.
But you know what is in your heart. But the Bible points out, it says folly is bound in the heart of a child.
From as a child.
But the rod of correction actually drives that away from you. So before you think about doing any good in the world, the folly, this come out, the wickedness has come out first. And then by somebody who's more experienced than you, they have to drive that away from you and tell you, oh, right, that's wrong.
Exactly.
And that's right. And that, yeah.
But now watch this. So, and I agree with that point. That's a good point. From you born, bro, because we born in sin shaped in iniquity, folly in your heart, right? But if you surrounded by people who never get disciplined, right? And they can't discipline you could be empowered that this the right thing to do same way. You understand what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. And and literally I feel like that might have been the issue with the Israelites now, because they might have feel like they was good people, they chill people. We know we the Lord's people, but at the end of the day, God telling y'all, understand this, I'm saying, keep my commandments, bro. Obey me and keep my commandments, bro. And y'all could become a holy nation. Y'all could be a kingdom of priests. You understand? And a holy nation, that's what God's saying. These are the words which you shall speak to the children of Israel. And that was God's instruction to Moses. So Moses came and called for the elders of the people and laid before them all the words which the Lord commanded him. Then all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. So Moses brought back the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, behold, I come to you in the thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you and believe you forever. So he's saying, bro, in the Bahamas, we have this thing called pulling scene. In America or in other parts of the world, that might be equivalent to causing a scene, right? So God basically is like, bro, I bring all these clouds here, I pull in scene right now. I causing like so much clouds to this thing, you could know this God. You understand what I'm saying? Like this ain't something normal that you could just brush over or rationalize. Like,
and we see God is also trying to make sure that people know that, yo, I am for sure, you are definitely my anointed one who I am choosing to lead these people to. So all this bickering and quarreling, I kind of want to put, I don't know if it's saying I want to put an end to that, but it's saying like there will be no thought that maybe Moses trying to come to lead us out here to kill us. Why you got all this bickering each time? Why you bring us here to kill us? God saying, no. Moses bring y'all out here to come worship me. Because remember, if we go back to when the plagues were hitting Egypt, each time Moses say, let my people go so they could go and worship God in the desert. That's a lot of people forget. People just say, let my people go.
That's the only...
So God's saying, no, like this, I am making sure that people will always put their trust in you because they know you will for sure be picked by me.
And another thing though, like as a child, right? As somebody, like, you know, when you being raised by your parents, sometimes it gets exhausting when you only getting disciplined, but you ain't never getting like some type of reward, or you understand. So it have to be balanced. And like even the organization I work at now, they do a good job of trying to recognize like their employees and stuff.
Above and beyond.
Yeah, no lie. Then the Lord said to Moses, go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and let them be ready for the third day. For on the third day the Lord will come upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. You shall set bounds for the people all around, saying, take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain or touch its base. So now he's saying, bro, barricade this mountain off and tell them, bro, don't go to this mountain. Do not even touch the base of the mountain. Whoever touches the mountain shall surely be put to death.
Yep, there's no, keep going.
Right. Not a hand shall touch him, but he shall surely be stoned or shot with an arrow. whether man or beast, he shall not live.
So we seen from afar. Guess what? Y'all become almost y'all. We can't even touch you, but you still gotta be put to death. So we gonna stone you or shoot you with some arrows.
So you could only imagine, like, wow, that's crazy, boy.
See, because God saying, bro, this, like, God saying, I coming down, like, I about to step down here, and I holy, and I am God. Y'all, only Moses going up there.
So what that really mean is God would have turned the people hearts to stone or shoot the...
He wasn't even really turning their hearts.
They were saying physically stone them.
No, they're just gonna
you know, like when you stone somebody that you throw stones at them till they die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
God was trying to say, bro, if they touch the thing, if they touch the mountain, they already dead. They already like dead, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But y'all have to kill them. Y'all have to put them to death for doing that. This is punishable by death offense, but you shouldn't even touch them, bro. You understand? Because they like so disgraceful.
Yeah, they become completely unholy.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so you kill them with stones or you shoot them with an arrow, bro. Don't even touch them. That's that's what he say. You understand what he's saying?
That gone over my head.
Yeah, bro.
That gone over
Verse
my head.
13. Not a hand shall touch him.
That gone over my head.
You understand what I'm saying?
And that's it going back to what you say. Like how you could miss things in the Bible. Like that gone over my head.
Yeah, bro.
Like
wow.
don't
even touch them, bro. Don't even touch them, bro.
Oh, that's crazy.
Treat them like they infected with something because they're infected with sin right now, bro. Because like they disobeyed God.
A direct
order.
Yeah, bro. Like, what you talking about? Like, and we can go on that point. We can see God don't play with stuff like that. You know, when God's serious and when God about to do something serious, and He give you strict instructions, bro. If you don't listen, you could die, bro.
Oh, and we will see this multiple times with the same people.
And remember, God threatened Moses to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Because Moses didn't circumcise his son.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
And this was right after God told him to go set the people free from Egypt.
Exactly, but we could talk more about that later, or maybe off mic or something. But to finish this story, so Moses went down from the mountain to the people, and sanctified the people,
consecrated them, yeah.
Yep, and they washed their clothes, and he said to them, "Be ready for the third day. Do not come near your wives, bro. Like,
abstain from sexual relations."
Right, we gotta be straight and holy. You understand what I'm saying? That's why they washing their clothes. We preparing ourselves for this moment. Then it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunderings and lightnings and thick clouds on the mountain, and the sound of the trumpet was very loud, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was completely in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire. Its smoke ascended like the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And went...
He's saying, like, you even know what was just even striking me now, that this trumpet that they was hearing was just a trumpet from heaven. It wasn't even a trumpet from the camp. Like, because the first time I read it, I was like, I wonder, I guess someone got up that morning, but like reading it again, you really could see, like, because just in the whole essence of it, like the thunder, the lightning, and then the thick cloud cover and the very loud trumpet blast. Like this trumpet came from heaven itself. Like, anyway, sorry.
And then remember, and now they differentiating now. They saying when you hear it, the loud, long one, when you understand, like, so like you can hear the trumpet sound because this God around, but imagine that. See, you a guy who played the trumpet, you understand, like, and you played in bands and Junkanoo and stuff like that, bro. I played in the band as well. Bro, the brass, when you hear that brass, bro, it ignites your heart. You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I can't explain that feeling. That's such a glorious feeling. You understand? So like, imagine, see, and you know, God always is do it the best. Imagine you come down and that's your entrance, bro. You hear the trumpet sounding. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine that atmosphere, that ambience.
I'm just trying to like picture it now. Like,
imagine the clouds around the mountain right now.
Like, we see these people were terrified.
Of course. That was
terrified.
That was a moment, bro.
The earth is shaking. The thunder is going. The lightning is happening. Big, thick smoke billowing from a mountaintop, bro. Like, I know this loud trumpet blasting, and you know this ain't not us playing the trumpet, yeah. So just imagine this sight. You wake up in the morning, you're like, bro, what is happening? This is God. It's not, because think about it now. To this point, we only see God coming to them as a pillar of fire and a pillar of cloud. So now this pillar of cloud, this pillar of fire, it leveled up a little bit now. We ain't used to this type of God coming down and showing His presence to us in this much glory where the whole earth is shaking.
So you can see why. Okay, well, since we paint that picture, could you imagine anyone even still going to try to touch the mountain?
Oh,
That's what I say. Like
You would think.
no, but then truthfully, like in today's day and age, you see people who's do the craziest, most dangerous. It's like it's an exhilarating feeling for them to be on the edge like that. You understand what I say? So, and then these people, you never can count them out. You understand what I say? But like to me, with this site, like I feel like it would just be a natural thing as a leader to feel like, ain't nobody coming on this mountain, bro. This already barricade up in XYZ. You know what I mean? So because it's such a terrible sight, like not in a bad way, but it's like it could cause terror. You understand what I say?
It's a weird thought, right? But I wonder like how the trumpet did sound, like if it sound melodic or just to sound loud. I would see it getting louder and louder, so they get louder and like octaves get higher too, like like what was happening, brother? Just amazing, like And then we see Moses speaks out. Then the voice of God answered him. And then the Lord descended to the top of Mount Sinai and called Moses to the top of the mountain. And Moses went up. You see, God himself came down. Moses went up. And the Lord said, go down and warn the people so they do not force their way through to see the Lord. And many
That's the first thing God said. He said, wait, hold on. Make sure.
And we can see because God know the hearts of his children. He know what they thinking. You can imagine him? Hold on. So God really up there? Let's go take a look. God saying, Moses, I already know what they're about to do.
On his head, like, oh man.
Moses, I already know what they're about to do. And we can see further on, even when Moses up there getting some very important documents, God send him back down to the middle of that.
Yeah, midway, yeah.
But we see God say, Moses, go back down and tell them, do not come up here. Moses said, the people can't come because you already want yourself to put limits around the mountain. Lord say, go down and tell them.
Listen to me, young man. Listen to me, Moses. Go down there and tell them don't come here. And that was my point. That's why I wanted to paint that picture because like, I is like, this is a little naive of Moses not to just take God's word at it. You understand? But when you see all of this, you're like, bro, who come in here?
Who come in here and think about it? And Moses say, bro, I can imagine Moses saying, like, you know, like when you feel like you ready check the box off, your boss say you do something, yeah, I ready do that. Your boss like, you sure? You're like, yeah, I ready do that. So Moses saying, you ready tell us barricade? And I made sure it's barricade. So I take in pride in saying, we get that covered. Yeah, God saying, you understand me? They can hop over them barricades.
Listen to me, yeah. Listen to me, go. And make sure, reiterate to them, do not cross this line.
Here we go, I trying to save y'all.
Exactly.
Like, y'all don't understand that. Because see, this next thing, they still ain't not fully acquainted with God yet. Because we see Moses himself didn't know the first time to take his shoes off at the burning bush. God saying, bro, this whole mountain now is holy ground. I can't have y'all coming, even though y'all going to this consecration ceremony, y'all still ain't.
I think at that mindset, bro.
Where y'all should be.
Yeah, mentally. Faith, like, yeah, they still pretty weak or young in their faith, honestly.
I mean, and even going fast forward, like we see even after they get the temple, only the high priest could enter the most holies one day of the year. And we see how the people, he still had to tie a rope with bells
just to make sure he's
still alive. Walking through the holy place. If the bell stopped, they say, well, I wonder how much high priest they lose doing that. But that's a conversation
different story. We can get there now, and we can have the same questions, but very interesting still though, bro. Verse 24, then the Lord said to him, away, get down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. And God saying, bro, even tell the priests, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Do not. Don't do it. You understand? Like, let me get this through to y'all head. And so people, in the very next chapter is the 10 Commandments. So we familiar with this benchmark or this monumental moment. But even now, we can see where God telling them, yo, let's be serious now. We get consecrated. We put barricades around. You understand what I'm saying? And like to me, whenever all of these stories, my mind just like context, bro. Like the context of my mind was completely off. I'm just like, I always feel like I could see why they just didn't get it right. But bro, once I travel through this journey, and thankful for this podcast, I can't be thankful enough. I feel like once we travel through this journey, I'm just like, I could see 100% why God was upset with them. Because y'all just not getting it. Y'all just fight the Amalekites, bro. You just fight against the Egyptians. Oh, well, God just destroyed the Egyptian leaders. And the biggest play in all of that was freeing my people and making sure that this God reigns supreme over all the other gods. In the book of names, bro, we have not yet to hear of another God. they have not mentioned not one God's name. When we did our Fresh Air Fox and when we did the thing on the plagues, we had to research that. We had to research these people's names. We had to research who the Pharaoh was during the time of Moses. We don't know about these names, bro. You know why? Because the most important name is called, bro. I am, bro. We don't gotta care about the rest of these gods. But it seems like everybody cared to some degree, or everybody thought of these gods to some degree. Jethro, when he come and he say, "Well, I so glad God make an example out of these gods, because it teach me that these gods wasn't saying nothing about our God is the God." You understand what I'm saying? And like even now, like as this is one of the most notable things about Moses. He's talking to God. Physically talking to God. They having a meeting, a one-on-one type of meeting right now. You understand what I'm saying? And God have to stop Moses between all of that and say, yo, go make sure they ain't doing nothing stupid down there, bro. We already make provisions that they don't do that, but make sure tell them and tell the priest, bro. You know what it is? The priest ain't getting it. The priest want to come and talk to God for themselves and end up getting stoned. What? I ain't understanding, you know what I'm saying? But it just go to show like the hearts of these people. These was God's people. But the whole world could have been documented during this time, bro. But this was the only people that God documented as God's people in the whole world, bro. Imagine if all the Christians was all related, like blood related, and in one centralized area, right? And they showing off and they arcing bad, and God have to keep disciplining them. I remember all of the times we used to go on class trips when they take us to them buffets and stuff like that. And when we get back in the bus and the teachers give us a long lecture, or we bring y'all out here, y'all misbehave, y'all do this person doing that. You understand? Like just some mischievous children and just some children just so happy to be in this environment. And like you can look back on that and be embarrassed, like, why we do that? Like, why we was misbehaving? You know what I'm saying? We didn't have a reason, and God have to keep running behind them. You know, understand what I'm saying? And a lot of ways, we are little children. Like, at the end of the day, if you compare us to God, we definitely little children of God. God lived way longer than us. We can't even fathom how long God lived. You understand?
He was in the beginning.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's definitely an age gap.
Before the beginning.
It's definitely a difference of power. And then faith and spirituality, God light years away. Like, we can't even fathom how much holier God is than us. God is holy. God is love. You understand? We still on the earth, we still learn how to love. We still learn how to be holy. But we can see where God's people still wasn't getting it. You in the sight of God, bro.
The presence.
You in the presence of God.
Right there.
You understand?
Man, I just can't wait till we get to the couple other episodes just to actually break down the significance of being in the presence of God and how their actions was almost in direct defiance to God when God was in their presence. So that's going to be something to unpack in a couple episodes. But yeah, that's going to...
So definitely, you know, just in conclusion, we can see where this was a monumental moment for the Israelites all the way through, like from Exodus start. It's a very serious moment for them, right? And we can see how the devil ain't eased up yet. And we can see how the devil has used the very people in the Israelite camp, the very people who are in the faith, to cause confusion with the leadership, with Moses, to upset them, and just to completely defy God. So my question today is, why then do we assume that in our faith and in our religious organizations that isn't going to happen? You understand what I'm saying? Why do we assume that you come to church and everybody going to be nice to you? You know, some people, I've heard this, I've never experienced this. I've heard pastors say on numerous occasions, some people upset when someone take their seat in church. You know, I sit here every week, but you come and take, you understand, and that ruin their day. You understand what I'm saying? Because you can see how, like, especially when God doing something big, you can see how the devil he ain't just let that happen. You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of times, it's going to be people who in the church who are our brothers and sisters being influenced and fueled by the devil and just coming up, like, just really showing their lack of faith. A lot of times you could lay dormant. Your lack of faith could be dormant and people don't know because everything going good with you and stuff. Stuff going bad, you can show, you can end up showing. You understand what I'm saying? And so, like, truthfully, something to be cognizant of, all of us on a journey. The Israelites on a journey. They're on a physical journey. Every one of us are on a journey. And we have to make sure that we, in our needs or our wants, our thirsts or whatever, are not in obstruction of God's will and God's law. Ayana mentioned this a few podcasts ago, saying that Peter was telling Jesus, no, I ain't gonna let no one kill you. And Jesus had to rebuke him, get behind me, Satan, because you ain't trying to progress God's law. You ain't trying to progress the mission that I come on. So like, even as Christians, we ain't on us faultless. And you can't look at nobody and feel like, or like, oh, we straight because there's a Christian, or they can help in XYZ. Because like even in the Israelites, we see the people complaining and about the stone Moses. You understand what I'm saying? So I feel like as Christians, as followers of God, like we have to think about how we could be obstructing God's law. What is God telling us to do for him to elevate us or for him to advance his word through us? What is that? What do we need to do? And are we doing it? The Israelites are starting to develop a trend. Now, they're quick to ignore the things that the Lord has done in order to ask, what have you done for me lately? Here we see the Israelites once again complaining about something that the Lord has already delivered them from before. And if there was ever a time they needed direct instruction from the Lord, it was now. But these instructions weren't only for the Israelites. But we'll talk about God, Moses, and the 10 Commandments on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by Jayden Roberts, Isabelle Labbe, as well as your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.